It's evident that democratic government is breaking down at this time. The politicians do not seem to be listening. We have the same problems we had under George Bush in terms of civil liberties, the economy, the job rate is very, very bad. People are still losing their homes. People are waiting for hope that we can believe in and change we can believe in, but it doesn't seem to be happening. So the question that is raised more and more with me by people who ask me, what can we do? How can we get the government to listen to us? How can we move government? Right now, the Democrats have basically gone underground. They're sticking their heads in the sand. As an article from the New York Times reports, if the time-honored tradition of the political meeting is not quite dead, it seems to be teetering closer to extinction. Of the 255 Democrats who make up the majority in the House, only a handful held town hall style forums as legislators spent last week at home in their districts. More and more it seems that, especially the Democrats now, I'm not laying this on Democrats, Republicans will duck when it's time for them to duck, are basically stopping having town hall meetings. They're having very closed meetings with supporters who support them with wine and caviar, and nice events. Quick stopover meetings where they briefly speak to people and off they go. This is all to avoid the outrage of voters. There's basically only three ways you can deal with government or politicians when they don't listen to the voters. This is after voting and you see that voting hasn't worked. Well, what do? Well, A, you can be uncivil. That's the first thing. That's heckling, general all-around hell-raising, causing minor disturbances. Civil disobedience is the second method, and that's the greats like Martin Luther King, Gandhi, and others have used that. Sit-ins, street marching down the streets, those kind of things. Most people don't do that. And the third option, of course, is what we don't want, and that's violence. But we have to get the politicians to listen to us somehow. Recently, at a meeting at the Omni Showroom in San Francisco, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi thought she was going to a friendly meeting of her fellow left-wing progressive, and when she got there, she found that she was in quite a mess because all of a sudden, the Democrats, the progressives, have found out that things are not going like they want to, and they were very, very upset with Pelosi. As an article in the Washington Post details, I mean, she was eaten by her own. I mean, she was 3 minutes into her speech, and talking about changes here when all of a sudden two men stood up and spread out a large pink banner saying stop funding Israeli terror. Others started speaking about community choice. People were very upset, yelling slogans, and the fellow who actually organized this fence, Robert Borisage, said, and this is a quote from him, "Progressives have grown ever more dissatisfied, and for good reason. Our hopes, our illusions were shattered. Escalation in Afghanistan, retreat on Guantanamo, no movement on workers' rights or comprehensive immigration reform, dithering on don't ask, don't tell, reverses on choice, delay on climate change, and new energy." The word civility has come up a lot since the Tea Party activists started disrupting town hall meetings during the whole healthcare debate. But I think civility is not the issue anymore. The question is, how do we get the politicians to listen? I think it's going to take people speaking up, and aggressively so. Our democratic form of government is at stake. And I mean that we have a right to do this. We have a right to speak to politicians and speak truth to power. And we have a right to do it even though they don't like how we do it. So let's get out there and make a difference, and let's do it today. Tomorrow may be too late.